Joining us for D.C. Current this morning is our senior senator from Louisiana, Senator Bill Cassidy. How are you this morning, sir?
I am great, gentlemen. How are y'all?
Very, very well. It's just the one gentleman. Bill is taking a vacation day today, so you're stuck with me, sir.
Well, Irish guy talking to Irish guy.
There you go. How was St. Patty's Day for you and the family?
You know, it was pretty uneventful. I went down for a baptism in New Orleans, so it was a very nice, meaningful, very meaningful as a friend, but otherwise, no parade.
Mm-hmm. Sir, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you, I know it was probably disappointing, the vote in the Senate the other day on the president's national emergency declaration. I know that you were with the president, as was Mr. Kennedy, but I was surprised to see so many of your GOP comrades vote against him.
The issue, well, there's several issues involved, and you can vote on any one of the issues, if you will. Is there an emergency? Yes, there's an emergency. 64,000 Americans are dying of overdose annually, more in 1 year than died in Vietnam over 10. And a lot of those drugs are coming across the southern border. 2,000 people enter our country illegally every day. You can add to it human trafficking. So is there an emergency? Yes. The president has the right to choose it. He has the right to reprogram. But obviously, if Congress had told him, listen, we don't think you should be spending more than this, and the president does it anyway, some folks would object to that. He actually has the legal right to do that. So you could either vote kind of on the, well, we don't think you should have, or you could vote on it's an emergency and you have the right to. And that's how I voted, but other people voted the other way.
Mm-hmm. It's not lost on a lot of America that in the past, these national emergencies, presidential declarations of emergency have been used in countries where the U.S. And its interests were not really a threat. But here we have one that's about the security at our southern border, and everyone objects.
Yeah, I think that, we've declared national emergencies. The president has, for example, not this president, but another, I think Bill Clinton, about blood diamonds in Liberia. Now, blood diamonds in Liberia is an important issue, but it's not 64,000 Americans dying every year from drug overdose. And by the way, the wall is not the only solution, but it's part of the solution. And we need to do everything we can to try and stem these problems. So, again, that's where I landed.
Mm-hmm. What else is going on in the Senate? What's in your wheelhouse?
Now, we're doing lots of things. Working on College Transparency Act, something I just introduced last week, helping kids understand what is the true cost of college. Got several bills out there trying to lower the cost of both health care in general and drug prices in particular, working very closely with the Trump administration regarding that. I'm very optimistic that we'll get legislation through that will actually help the patient, if you will, the consumer, know how much something costs before they get it ordered for them, as opposed to find out with a surprise bill 6 weeks later.
Yeah, if sometimes it's even later than 6 weeks. It's like 3 months down the road, and suddenly you get hit with finding out how much it's actually going to cost you.
And in most cases, that should be known by whichever place you're having your procedure done. But again, another issue is drug cost. Drugs cost way too much for some drugs which are of marginal value. And so we're working, again, with the administration to try and bring those costs down. And I think we'll be introducing legislation within a month or so, and I think it'll probably pass.
We're talking with Senator Bill Cassidy. Sir, got a couple other questions I'd like to discuss, but we need to take a really brief pause. We're going to do that. We'll be right back with the Senator. This is D.C. Current on Talk 107.3 FM. During our previous segment, we were talking a bit about transparency, both in college costs, and then we touched on medical costs. As a member of the medical profession, why do the costs float? Why is there such variation in the price of services and goods and meds?
Well, some of it's a volume discount. If an insurance company negotiates, listen, we'll send all your patients there, but give us a 10% discount, you kind of get that. That happens when you sell cars and buy cars.
Okay.
So you get that. But some of it is just like they're exploiting the fact that people don't know the price. So there's a Consumer Report article from about 6 months ago, and they sent secret shoppers out as if they had only cash, no insurance, to buy, I think it's off the top of my head, but like 7 different generic medicines. And the price of the generic medicines, these 7 different generic medicines, range from maybe $100 to $800. Now,
wow.
That is not their cost of doing business. That is they're figuring out that if you're paying cash, that you probably haven't the ability to shop, and so therefore you're stuck, and so therefore they're going to stick you. That's wrong. And if you put in transparency, that goes away, and it should go away.
I couldn't agree with you more. I just think something. If McDonald's can tell us exactly how many calories are in a latte, then we should have a better idea of what our medical care is going to cost us.
There's always going to be some variables. If you get in a wreck, of course, there's going to be all sorts of things that are added on. But if you're going in for a colonoscopy, I used to do a lot of those. It's pretty standard what it's going to cost, and you may add on a pathology fee if you take off a polyp. But you still kind of have a sense of what that pathology fee is going to cost. And so it should average out, and you should get that average.
Got about 90 seconds left, Senator. And again, we appreciate your time very much this morning. A little bit of older business. You met with Ben Carson, the Secretary of HUD, last week, along with Senator Kennedy. And I understand that there is real hope that maybe some of this money can be freed up and the duplication of benefits logjam could be cleared for the flood victims.
We're waiting for... Carson tells us the rules have been issued, but now they're hung up in the Office of Management and Budget to be the final review. And the Office of Management and Budget wants to do other things that, frankly, I think are redundant. And so we're meeting with the Office of Management and Budget. John and I and Secretary Carson will be meeting with them to see just, okay, one more step. What is that one more step? And why does there have to be this one more step? You get a sense that there's a reluctance on some on the administration to just let it go, even though Congress has passed this law. So we're going to keep on pushing.
Well, sir, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much, and we look forward to our next conversation with you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Have a great morning.